All right, so let's jump in here. This is the first video, the first real video in the series of professional development lectures, with the series title being Publishing and Presenting Your Research in Academic Journals and Conferences. And the first one is going to be talking about why we might want to publish our research. For some of us, as I think I said in the introductory video, for some of us, this is just part of what we do. This is such a perfectly normal and everyday kind of thing that we do because we have a sense of kind of obligation, or because we're driven by intellectual ideas or academic ideas, or we're driven by our questions that we want to address and tackle, and we love carrying out research and engaging in scientific practices and these kinds of things. And I certainly see myself partly as I'm a teacher at heart, but also I'm certainly also a researcher. It's part of my identity as a professional. And but there's lots of different reasons that people want to get involved in publishing and contributing to academic research and the literature. And so we'll talk about a little bit of that right now. Sort of hopefully get you a little bit excited if you're not thinking about publishing, maybe you are thinking about it, but you need a little bit more of a push to get moving in that direction. We'll see why you might want to get go that way. So the first video. And just to situate this in the larger series, that this is the first topic: why publish and present your work. Afterwards, we're talking about how to prepare manuscripts that can then get accepted, how to choose a topic, how to write work that'll get accepted, and then choosing the right venue for your work, followed by the journal submission process, and then a few additional suggestions on publishing, sort of miscellaneous items, followed by 2 additional brief lectures on more related to presenting, getting accepted, and presenting at academic conferences. So first of all, and these are, these again, I said in the introductory video that my field is TESOL and applied linguistics and second language acquisition and research methods within those fields. And see, there's some of these journals, and I see these and I think, wow, those are the places where I want to get my work out there, where I want to have people read, and where I want to see my work in print so that I'm able to contribute in some way. Journals like TESOL Quarterly and Studies in Second Language Acquisition and Applied Linguistics. But I invite you to think about why you might be interested in publishing. And here I'll just put up a few different reasons why we do this. So fame and fortune, well, maybe not so much, maybe tenure. One reason why people publish. For a lot of people, it's really part of their job. It's part of their contract to produce research. So they must publish. The sort of famed publish or perish maxim, right? Another great reason to engage in research and to publish is to contribute to theory and or practice. As professionals, we all have ideas. We all have things that we that we think and we know to be true from our experience. We also may want to question some of the standard procedures or practices or policies that are out there. And one way to do that is by carrying out our own research, or simply writing position papers or theory type papers. By getting those ideas out there, we can share what we know and what we feel and what we've experienced and what we see, whether in formally designed experiments or more in what we might call action research or more observational type research. But in any case, if you want to do that, the way to get your ideas out there is to publish those ideas usually in the form of journal articles. A third reason that we want to publish and write for different audiences is to advance scientific knowledge. And sometimes we have ideas and they may not even, I generally most enjoy my own research and then other people's research when it has something to do with practice, when it's related to the real world. But there's also value in research for the sake of simply advancing our scientific knowledge or understanding of the world around us, including how to teach and learn more effectively and more efficiently. And so understanding and advancing ideas simply in terms of scientific knowledge, that has value as well. It would, if when we're get another reason for publishing, it can give another purpose to your work. And so a lot of us are reflective teachers, and we take notes on the way that we teach, and the way that we see people learning, and we see what things that we see around the world. But if we have a goal for it. It's not just sort of simply for note-taking or for reflection or for posterity, which are all valuable purposes as well. But if you're thinking about sharing those with a broader audience, then it might give a sort of new orientation or a new purpose to those practices that we have. I actually feel that sometimes when we do research, if you're doing something that you would call research, even if it's more a little bit less formal or action research, we might call it, that we have somewhat of an ethical obligation to share that with a broader community. If there are people out there that might benefit from the things that we observe and the things that we experience and the data sort of broadly defined, the data that we collect, if we can share that with other folks who might be able to use that in some way, then we really owe it to them to do that. Yet another reason for publishing, of course, is this idea of the journal culture in academia today, that the written word and journal articles essentially constitute the currency of intellect. It's the way that we show that we have ideas, the way that we show that that ideas are worth sharing in some ways. And I'm not saying that journal articles are the only way to get great ideas out there. There's lots of other types of venues, including conferences and blog posts and professional newsletters, things like that, which are really valuable as well. And I hope that people will consider publishing and sharing work in those formats and venues as well. And then last is just the idea that maybe that by publishing research, you can challenge yourself. You may find yourself in a similar setting or context for a long time, and you feel that you've taught the same classes for a long time, or maybe you haven't been, you've had some ideas kind of brewing in your head and in your notes, but you're up for something new and different. Well, then I'd say take this on and see if you're not able to get your ideas out there and put them through peer review in a way that would you get comments from other professionals, and then also see if you can sort of get over that bar of being accepted somewhere. So it can be really enjoyable in that you see that you're able to accomplish something that maybe you weren't able to do before. So, okay, so yeah, so we want to publish. So how do we do it? And that's really the next step that we're going to take here. So there's sort of this this mystery, a lot of mystery around the process, and we're going to try and tackle that and expose it. And as I mentioned in the introductory video, I come at this from the perspective of an author as well, but an author like all of us, but also a reviewer and an editor of journals. And I look at a lot of manuscripts, and so I'm trying to sort of demystify some of that process for all of us. I mean, a lot of you, I'm sure, have already published before, but some of us maybe not. And so some of this will be repeat and review for a lot of you, and for some of you it might be new. And so I'm going to sort of assume really no background knowledge in terms of the process and developing manuscripts for publication. And then those of you who are a little bit more advanced, feel free to skip through some of that. Okay, but we're going to try and demystify and look behind the curtain a little bit to see what goes on and how to be successful in this important professional practice. So in the next brief lecture, I'll talk about manuscript preparation, and specifically 3 steps that go along in putting together successful manuscripts. Right. So I will stop there.